What's going on, everyone? So a few days ago, Nathan dropped what he's calling a brand new globe debunk. According to him, he filmed the Sand Island Lighthouse from Fort Morgan, Alabama, and he claims Earth curvature calculators say half the lighthouse should be hidden, but he can see the whole thing. So let's do what no flat earther will ever do and actually check the details.
All right, we got a piping hot, fresh, new globe debunk, observation made from Fort Morgan, Alabama, to a lighthouse 12 miles away. The lighthouse is 131 feet tall. Look at that zoom out. And you can see the entire thing. Now, according to Earth curvature calculators, half of it should be missing, but we see the entire thing. Thanks for playing. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Okay, so first thing we're going to do is talk about the lighthouse itself. Sand Island Lighthouse. This is an old picture from the '62. This little white building doesn't exist anymore. On here, it says 132 feet at this spot, but then says 131 feet here. So yeah, 131, 132 feet. That's accurate. So I did find these plans. These are the original engineering plans. They're just scanned in and remastered. I can find the focal height, the focal plane of this lighthouse is 126 feet high, but I can't read what this number says. I think it says 95, but I'm not going to guess, and that goes up to here. And we can kind of see some of this. And then this one here says 7 foot. I think it says 6 inches, but I'm not 100%. But this little section right here is 7 foot some inches.
To a lighthouse 12 miles away.
So he says the lighthouse is 12 miles away. This is the lighthouse here. And I drew a line that is exactly 12 miles, and it put me here. Now we know he's up near the grass because in his video we can see grass, but like all flat earthers, he doesn't give us exactly where he's at. So I just had to draw this at 12 miles. The weird thing is, if you look here, the places that he could have gone is he could have gone down here to this nature wildlife refuge and then hoofed it 1.5 miles on the sand to 12 miles away, or come through this housing development that's got a guardhouse right here and some probably nice houses, and then hoofed it backwards farther away 0.5 mile. So this puts us 12 miles here. Don't know where he actually was because no flat earther will ever give their actual coordinates on an observation. But let's listen to that again.
To a lighthouse 12 miles away. The lighthouse.
So just a second ago, you heard him say 12 miles away, but for some reason, in the Earth curvature calculator, he put 13.748 miles away. That's weird that he had to do that in here. Now, in his video, he didn't put the observer height. We know that the grass is pretty far back from it. You can kind of see there's not very many spots where I can drop a pin on the coast or on that beach, but we can see here that the grass on this beach is pretty far back from the water. So I estimated about 8 feet. He did put 8.117 feet in his, so that seems to be mildly accurate. One thing that I do find really interesting, though, is he conveniently left out refraction. Now, we all know, and thousands of papers written on it and studies done on it, know that atmospheric refraction is a real thing and does happen, and that's why we get fun things like standard refraction. So what I did was 8-foot observer, 12-mile distance like he originally said, 131-foot lighthouse with standard refraction. 37 feet should be missing. Now, of course, in his video, he'll lead you to believe that 70 feet should be missing.
Half of it should be missing.
Because he had to increase the distance by almost 2 miles that we think. We don't even know if he's at 12 miles. And put 0 refraction. As anyone that with half a brain knows, about 37 feet is missing. So what I did was got into Photoshop. This is his screenshot, his observation here. And then I zoomed it in on the lighthouse. If we look at this, we can kind of see on his photo where this section is. And that's what this 7 feet has to do. So like 7-ish feet, 7.5 feet or so. Let's add another 7 feet, puts us here. This is probably, to the top of this is probably 15 or so feet. Tack on a couple more. We'll say this is 18 feet from this thing up to the top of the lighthouse. So we'll draw a line. That's our 18-foot line. If this is 18 feet, that means 7.3 lines should exist. So here's 7, and then we got a little bit down here. And if we look at this, we are missing 2 2 full lines plus probably 5 to 6 feet. So that puts us at somewhere around 40 to 42 feet of this lighthouse missing from his observation, if we go with his numbers. So 40 to 42 feet missing. Walter Bislands calculates 37 feet. We're getting really close. So it looks like Nathan's observation matches substantially closer to the globe when you actually do the math. Now, for future reference, any flat earther, GPS coordinates of where you were at would be great. And you could do camera height, but realistically, if you just give the GPS coordinates, we can assume your camera's on a tripod anywhere from 3 to 6 feet, depending on what the video looks like. But here's what's fun. We've got Nathan, he inflates the distance, doesn't give GPS coordinates, refuses to introduce refraction, which we know exists, didn't include his observer height, but he did put 8 feet, and declared this a victory and a win. But also,
But we see the entire...
He says we see the entire thing. Where's the rock base? This lighthouse sits on a rock base that's about 3 feet or so. But for some reason, we don't see that. Yet, according to Nathan.
But we see the entire thing.
So yeah, that's pretty interesting. So this wasn't a globe debunk. It was a perfect example of why flat earth arguments only work when you hide data, change inputs, and hope that no one checks. Test the claim yourself, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk on why you shouldn't fall for the shittiest of con men that just make things up and lie to flat earthers so he can feel special.